Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are and when you are viewing this. Grandmother clock is going off in the background. It must be time to talk about keto. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Hope everyone is fine. It's an overcast, drizzly day, appropriate temperature here in my part of the world. Hope everything's well with you. Um, and first of all, thank you so much. Those of you who have come along on the ride with me here on a not a new platform. I've been using the platform for years, but new to my Saturday morning chats here on Crowdcast. I very much appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I've got a couple of things I'm going to share today that are doable here on Crowdcast, not so easy on other platforms. So, before I jump into today's topic, I want to say a couple of things. There is a speech bubble with a question mark in it. And if you want to pin a comment or a question and make sure it gets attended and can be seen on the screen, put your comment or question in that speech bubble. I'll get notified and I will click it and et cetera, et cetera. I also have a poll I'm going to post, and I'm going to share a couple of photographs there. Today's topic is doing keto, in quotes, on your own. And I know many people feel like they are on their own. And whereas learning the protocol, and I'm going to share with you how I learned it and how I have practiced it now for over 11 years. Learning the food is pretty easy. And then there are other challenges. I mean, we have questions. How does this work? We want to be reassured. But sometimes, even after we've learned everything we need to learn and we know what to do, we can feel like no one's on our side, or very few people are on our side. Some people actively try to sabotage us, which is not cool. And some people just don't have the support they wish they had. So, the protocol, as I learned it, is this: keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, which you can see at my website or link below my YouTube replay of this, if it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Hardest part. Stop eating when you've had enough. Second hardest part. Be patient. Third hardest part. And persevere. That I added those last two myself. So that's it. Keep your carbs to 20 grams or fewer a day so you can become a fat burner. That's what that is. You stop burning glucose for fuel. You start burning ketones or fat for fuel, hence the ketogenic protocol. So that's it. So now let's say you are armed with this information. You are motivated. You want to lose some body fat. You want to come off medications. You want to feel better. You want to not have so much joint pain. You want to quit waking up with acid reflux. And you'd like to wear some cuter clothes, whatever the motivation. Being ready to do it is obviously key. But we have to be ready to kind of fend off either the skepticism or the misunderstandings of other people outside of ourselves. This can be coworkers, family, close friends, not so close friends, our medical provider. The ketogenic protocol, for one thing, it's gotten crazy with all the silly, gimmicky crud. And it is crud. You don't have to buy anything. There is no way to jumpstart your ketosis by drinking or eating something. The way you go into ketosis is you reduce your carbohydrate intake sufficiently. That is what it is. It's not what you put in your mouth, it's what you don't put in your mouth. So there's all the hype. And when something gets hyped, people become worn out. They start believing the hype and then are disappointed by the hype because it didn't come through, and some people are giving misinformation. But let's say you're not going through that. You're not falling for the hype. You're keeping your carbs 20 grams or fewer, and you're working at not eating when not hungry. That is a challenge because we have to relearn what hunger. We have to actually maybe learn for the first time what hunger is. And then we go out and there's a get together. And even people knowing that you are laying off the carbs, want you to eat carbs. There could be a holiday, and we are it's where, Easter's coming up. Chocolate bunnies everywhere, Cadbury eggs. Oh, you got to have chocolate bunny on Easter. I made this basket just for you. It's challenging. And we can feel like we're the only ones on our own side. And sometimes we kind of are the only ones on our own sides. We have to do this for us. It won't work doing it for anyone else. And we can't get anyone else to do it. Other people have to do it for themselves. We can't cajole or bribe or browbeat or lecture or wag our fingers into someone else doing this. It is one of the few things in our lives as humans over which we have control. And that is what we put in our mouths. Sometimes we want to say we don't have control, but we do have control. It's like our only thing we have control over, right? And, we can't worry about someone's feelings getting bruised because they baked a pie that everyone loves their pie and they're known for their pie, and we passed on the pie. We can't worry about that. Or we can take the pie and give it to somebody else. Take the slice of pie, walk around, put it down, and give it to somebody else who wants a second piece of pie. We have to learn to navigate that. But we can do it. As a matter of fact, for me, the better I felt about myself, the easier it was for me to just continue on going, no matter what people around me said. And frankly, most people around me were supportive at first. Some people are really happy to see you have a little bit of success and they applaud you. And then you have a whole bunch of success and they go, "Ew, isn't she full of herself?" That's just human nature. Now, I didn't have to really work very hard at not letting someone tell me what to eat because I'm kind of a contrarian. So I always gave people 2 at-bats. "Here, have some of this." "No, thank you." "Oh, come on now. I'm reintroducing carbs into your life." "No, I really don't. I'm fine. Thank you." "Have this." "I'm not going to eat that." I mean, third at-bat, I'm getting a little sharp. If things are more advanced than just our coworkers looking at us like we're crazy and freaked out that we're going to, explode in a giant blob of cholesterol, that's one challenge. When we have people with whom we live who are not on board, or even worse, kind of sabotagey, we really have to screw up our courage. We have got to do this for ourselves. Selves. We have to do this for ourselves. Is someone else going to be taking the insulin injections for us just because, you know, they didn't want to lay off the carbs and they want us to be with them? No, we'd have to do it. We'd have to pay for the medications and deal with the stuff and deal with feeling bad, feeling physically bad. We have to do the brave thing. It's not selfish. It's not selfish and it's not mean. Kind of what can be selfish is being cavalier about one's health. And, oh, it's my body. I'm going to do this if I want. And, there's plenty of insulin in the world. That's selfish. That's offloading one's health care to somebody else, or offloading concern about one's health to somebody else. In my support group, I had someone whose father was in the hospital with complications from type 2 diabetes. And this person was trying to encourage their father in the hospital bed to try what they had been doing, laying off the carbs. And the father responded, I'll keep on taking insulin, but I'm not passing on dessert. And you can't do anything about that. But that's kind of a selfish attitude for that father, because that father's child was concerned about their health and worried. So it's not mean. Aunt Ida of the famous pecan pie will be okay. If Aunt Ida's entire identity is tied up with making pecan pies, she needs to get more hobbies. But even if that's her only hobby and she takes great pride in it, we don't have to eat it. Some of us are people pleasers. We want to make other people happy. Nothing wrong with that. But we have to remember we're people too. We're entitled to make ourselves happy, to please ourselves, and to feel good, and to be happy and healthy. So what do you do if you feel like you're in this on your own? I would suggest preparing if you're going into a situation where you know there are naysayers or less than supportive people. Before you're in the situation, be prepared. Pull out your best scouting manual and be prepared. As the saying goes, we don't drown because we can't swim. We drown because we panic. So you don't want to wait until you're in the middle of a situation and have to deal with it. Just reassure yourself that you're entitled to make choices that will result in your best health and well-being and self-confidence. You're entitled to that, no matter who's around you. To those of us who have supportive friends and family, yay us. I do. And if they don't support or do what I do, they certainly don't try to interfere. They don't complain and they don't try to sabotage me. So I'm lucky in that. If you are not as fortunate, just remind yourself that, like the L'Oreal commercial says, you're worth it. You're worth it. And they'll get over it. The bruised feelings, they'll get over it. If you lose a friend over this, not much of a friend. What was that friendship based on? Going out to Taco Bell and gorging? If that's what the friendship is based on? No. And it sounds harsh, but we have friends for seasons and friends for reasons. Sometimes our relationships, they come and go for different reasons. All right. Those are my thoughts. Now, I want to do something. For those of you, okay, I am seeing comments and questions. I'm going to post a poll, if you don't mind. I hope you guys will be able to see it. Okay, let me see if you can find that poll. You might have to click on the thing that looks like a poll to the side. And after a while, I'm going to post a couple of new photographs. Not new, they're old. So let me read some comments. DH writes, good morning, everyone. And Karen Callahan, good morning. Karen, I don't want to make you upset, but there's yesterday's eggs. Karen is interested in getting chicks for her daughter and grandkids and everything. And it's challenging getting baby chicks now because of bird flu. So we've had a little conversation about that. Kimberly Reed, good morning, everyone. And D is a smiley face. Mother Hubbard, greetings from Chicagoland, where the river will be green for St. Patty's Day today. Yay! Kimberly Reed, it helps to think of how we eat as a personal boundary. Sadly, sometimes we have to defend it, right? I think I only have done it for calendars that I used to make. Nobody gets a vote on what we eat. Where did people get the idea that they can comment or question what we're eating? Mind your business. Get your eyeballs off my plate. Mind your business. Now, I think why some people maybe push a little bit it's I think some people are self-centered enough to think that if we're say we're at a restaurant and the bread basket is being passed around and we just pass the bread basket on to the next person. What, you're not having bread? These are the most delicious rolls ever. No, I'm not. I think they think that puts a spotlight, they think, on their plate with the 3 rolls. I don't care what anybody else eats. I don't get a vote on what other people eat. I don't get a vote on what my husband eats or my adult children or their children. I don't get a vote. No one gets a vote on what I eat. But you're absolutely right. It seems like one of those boundaries that people think are permeable. Karen Callahan writes, I'm on my own within all my friends and family. That's why I'm so thankful for the online community that gets it. Thank you. And Karen is a member of my private Patreon support group. You can, I don't think there's a link here, but if you go to my blog or see my videos underneath, there's a link to my Patreon, Go Keto with Casey, and there's a free trial period. And for $5 a month, you get 20 pre-recorded weekday video snippets every weekday. And the topics are suggested by patrons. But yeah, that's why there's a support group. If we didn't have to, like, one person I was doing a one-on-one with, this person was doing well, feeling better. It's a successful business woman, and she was losing weight. Her husband didn't care for that so much and kept trying to sabotage her, keeping in mind some people feel insecure if we start feeling better, looking better, whatever, whatever problems that is, that's has to be dealt with. So he got in the habit of leaving Snickers bars on the kitchen counter so that she would see it on her way out the door to go work each morning. Now, that's rude. So we talked and talked and talked. And I said, you can't, you can tell them, please don't do that. You could take it and throw it away. But emotionally, try to put on your Wonder Woman cuffs. Wonder Woman had the metal cuffs. You go, pew, 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 and deflect all this. And she said, oh my gosh. And she said, my favorite coffee mug has Wonder Woman on it. So what she did was she got that mug and she put it right next to the Snickers bar on the counter and left it there so that her husband saw she's Wonder Woman. Now, that's clever. I like that. And I don't know how everything ultimately ended up. But support is important. So I'm a little bit like, that's okay, Ms. Bots, Suzanne. And Karen Callahan writes, Cal Ranch got some. Oh, so we are proud owners of 6 chicks. Yay, that's great. Because just a couple of days ago, you didn't think you'd be able to have them. That's great. Can't wait to hear how that goes. For those of you who don't know, we have backyard chickens. And on every morning on the snippets, I give an update of what the scale fluctuated from the previous morning and how many eggs we got from the day before. So that's why that's there. Okay, and I'm going to share a couple of photos. And I hope this comes through. This is one from a long time ago. Man, this was probably still not my heaviest. I don't know when this was. Ugh, look at that. And I didn't like having my photograph taken. As you can see, I was very thrilled. And I wonder if I can. No, I can't. Can I show 2 at a time? I'm going to see if I can show 2 at a time. No, I cannot. So this is a while ago. Years. Long before I ever heard of keto or was trying, Now, this one is after I was following the protocol for about 2.5 months. It was Easter time, and that's the edge of our little granddaughter on what there was of me having a lap. Now, unlike some of the photographs of my before photographs, that's a genuine smile on my face. The other ones are kind of because I didn't feel good. But even a couple of months in, I felt so much better, even though I had not lost much weight. I just felt better. I felt in control. For the first time in my adult life, I felt in control. Like food was not the boss of me, which was another mug and t-shirt and cap I have. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that. Let's look at the comment. Remember, you can pin a comment in the speech bubble that has a question mark in it. Suzanne Botts, apparently Murray McMurray still has some, although some are sold out. Yes, I think Karen had shared that that's where we got our chicks from, most of them. That whatever ones Karen and her family wanted were sold out until June. So, yeah. So I think, so we got 14 eggs yesterday. And some of these are from, we have like the green and blue ones. These chickens are like over 5 years old and they're still laying. Oh, you are so beautiful. Well, thank you very much. You're very kind, Suzanne, but you always say nice things to me. Let me see if anyone has responded to the poll. I wonder if you guys, oh, look at this. So we have 50%, because the question is, do you feel supported in your efforts to follow the ketogenic protocol? 50% says yes. The other next answer is mostly family supportive friends are skeptical. One person votes that. Another person writes, and 25%, not really. And then the last one, which fortunately has no votes, not at all. I feel alone in this, and that makes it harder. So I'm glad no one feels absolutely alone, and votes are still coming in. So far, it's mostly, majority is yes. Some around me are even giving it a go. And then the second is mostly family supportive friends are skeptical. And I think that's very common. Friends being skeptical. For one thing, they've heard incorrect information. For another thing, they might say, wow, that's really great for you. I could never lay off French fries. So they're skeptical, not because they don't think it will work, because they don't feel they will do it. And they won't until they decide to. I said out loud for years, I know low carb works. I just can't see going the rest of my life without eating any tortilla chips. And I couldn't until I did. And now I don't care about tortilla chips. The only thing that really gets me now is something that I never ate before I knew my husband, and actually not until years and years into our marriage. From plantains, which are the dark, hard green bananas you may see in your local stores. Generally, they come from Colombia, Ecuador, parts south, and they're not sweet. If you let them ripen, they become sweet and they are closer to an actual banana. But there's a thing made out from these that are fried, and they're so good, called patacones. In certain parts of Spanish-speaking countries, they're called tostones. I believe the Puerto Ricans call them tostones, maybe Cubans. Anyway, they're delicious. That's kind of the only thing that I have to be careful with because they're very delicious and I love them. And when we're in Colombia on our little farm, we grow plantains and coffee and limes. All right, so excellent. Thank you for using the poll. I'm very pleased with this. This is one reason I prefer Crowdcast to YouTube. Karen writes, and for another thing, I was a lifelong dieter and always on one diet or another. Now, Karen, are you saying that people kind of say, oh, that's nice, Karen? Here we go again. I'm pretty sure that some of the people around me were like, oh, that's great. Well, I didn't tell anyone I was doing this because I tried so many different things. You may have seen the photos of me getting ready to get into a pool for the triathlon. Ugh, perfectly round. I look like a blueberry. I look like Violet from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Anyway, I tried and never got too very far. So I did this just quietly. And then people began to notice. And then when they notice, oh, you man, have you lost weight? Yeah, I've lost about 15 pounds. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm so happy for you. But I think they were really thinking, well, we know where this is going, y'all. She'll revert. And Karen responds, yes. But now it's been many years in maintenance. Did you ever think? Did you ever think? Maintenance? Maintenance? I mean, I went for years just trying not to put on 10 pounds in a year. No, I wanted to lose 10 pounds. That's all I wanted to do was lose 10 pounds in a year. And I was big. And then I was happy if I just only put on 3. But now I'm pretty happy anyway. All right, I'm going to remind y'all, I'm going to continue on this Crowdcast platform, and I will endeavor to send out email links to those of you who register the day before we do this, and feel free to drop on by. And as I say, hey Maura, step by step confidence builds, and you feel better and better. Yes, name of the game. Just like we can kind of get beat down and downtrodden, and that doesn't happen necessarily in one fell swoop. It just bit by bit we start to cast off those things that have been weighing us down literally and mentally, which is a portmanteau of emotionally and mentally. Thumbs up. Oh, and thank you for the support. Last week, someone clicked the support button. I very much appreciate that. I don't know that until after the moment. So if I knew, and I've actually asked the support here on Crowdcast if there's a way to get notified immediately if someone clicks the support button. Just trying to earn my keep. So y'all, keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. If you feel like you are on your own, maybe you have one other person that you can reach out to and say, man, how are you doing this? Or start a meetup of your own. You can start a meetup of like-minded people. Oh, Kimberly Reed, like you, I've known that keto low carb is right for me, but I've struggled with staying the course. I'll do really well for 6 months, even longer, and then I fall away, usually because of a stressful life event. This is where perseverance comes in. I really need to work on that. And Kimberly, just remember, if hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. Stress eating, I just posted a video about that on my blog. I think it's an old video. In my experience, when I would be upset, around Go Keto with Casey, we employ the BLAST method, which is a total ripoff of the HALT method for 12-step programs. Don't make a decision about eating when you're bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired, because we're vulnerable at those times. But say you got a stress. Okay, well, we've had some stress around here in the Durango household over the last month or so. And nothing that was causing this stress would food have helped at all. And back in the bad old days when I would be bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired, and I would eat thinking all that this will help, it only made it worse. I ate the food, it was good for 8 seconds, and as soon as it was in my stomach, the stressor was still there and not improved at all. So yes, we have to be diligent. Don't make a decision about eating if you're bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired. And y'all, again, thank you for your support, and just being here is very supportive for my feeling of not speaking just into the ether, and I appreciate that. I will be here next week, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Check out patreon.com, my support thing, if you want to give a free trial. If you like it, you stay. You don't, you won't. And put down some topics for snippet topics. I've made 1,879 morning snippets for Patreon. 1,879. Wow, I'm getting old. Okay, y'all. Thank you. Be sweet. Good luck with the chickens, Karen. And thank you for all of you who are here, but remaining silent, that is okay as well. Privacy is important. where I remind myself of those words. The food isn't going to change the it. Thanks, Casey. You're the best. Well, thank you. And on that note, I